Hi, it's Miranda Vivanco with another fall recipe. This time, it's one of my favorites. It's my pumpkin bread. And everybody who tastes my pumpkin bread wants this recipe. And guess what? I've never given it out. I've been making this pumpkin bread since I was 19, and I love this recipe. What I did though was this year, I mixed it up a little bit and started using essential oils in the recipe. So in this recipe, we're gonna be using cinnamon bark and we're gonna be using clove. And those two oils just enhance the flavor of the pumpkin bread, like makes it even better. You're gonna love it. So I'll get started. First, what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your eggs and you're going to beat them well in the bowl. You want them to be sort of frothy so that it mixes well with the bread and the other ingredients. Crack these in here. And I'm just gonna whisk them up. I need to wipe my hand. Next, I'm going to be adding in my oil and water. So I have oil and water. You can see they've already separated because they've been sitting there for a while. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put my cinnamon bark and my clove oil in with the oil because it will help mix it better out the whole recipe. Now, when you cook with essential oils, a little bit of the oil cooks out, so you always want to use a little bit extra. So I'm going to use about 5 drops of the cinnamon bark. And clove is one of those hotter oils. It has a little goes a long way is what I'm trying to say. So I'm only going to do 1 drop of the clove oil. And I'm going to stir that together. Make sure it's incorporated into all of the oil really well. And then I'm going to pour that directly in with the eggs. And I'm going to stir the eggs really well. Next, I'm going to add my sugar. I have 3 cups of sugar here. This bread recipe makes 7 small loaves or 2 large loaves. And mix that in. So it makes a lot. That's why a lot of people get to taste it, because I give away a lot of the bread. I'm going to then put in my 2 cups of pumpkin puree, nothing else, just pumpkin. You can use whatever brand you like of the pumpkin. I'm going to mix that up. And next I'm going to start putting in the flour. But first I'm going to take my salt and mix it in with my flour, my baking soda, and then I have nutmeg. I put a teaspoon of nutmeg and I add a teaspoon of cinnamon because I like the depth of the flavor of the cinnamon oil with the cinnamon spice itself as well. So I'm going to take a little, mix that all together really well so that it disperses well. And when you put the flour into the pumpkin mixture that's already in the bowl, you're going to do it in sections. So you're not going to do it all at once because you get big clumps of flour that you've got to then try to declump and mix in. And if they bake, you have like these little round flour pockets, and they're kind of weird looking. So I do it in about 3 or 4 sections, and I just stir it to incorporate the flour really well. It smells so good with all of those oils and the spices. I've had people ask me for years for this recipe, and I've never given it out until now. And I thought, well, here's my essential cookbook. Essential oils cookbook, my fall recipes, and I know people would really appreciate it. So I am going to stir and stir and stir until it's all incorporated. You want to make sure that all of the flour gets incorporated. And it should be a consistency of a nice batter, like a nice cake batter. Once you have that done, then you're going to scoop it into, I like using the smaller bread pans, and I'll tell you why. Because it's easy to give away. It seems to cook a little faster, which I like, and it's less mess for me to clean up later. But I like the way the bread tastes in the smaller. It stays more moist or something, and it just tastes better coming out of these. So I scoop about, and it makes 7. So literally what you want to do is get 7 of these and space them out on your counter, and then evenly distribute the batter into those 7 tins. Okay, so I just get a scoop, and I scoop a big scoop into each one of them. This one is a 2/3 of a cup, but you can use a cup. Each one does about a cup, I think, but you'll just want to scoop into each one. Now all of these people are going to know my recipe, and they're going to be so happy. Okay. All right. So we have the batter into all of the 7 pans now, and I'm going to move them into the oven. The oven was preheated at 325, and these smaller ones, they cook somewhere between 50 minutes and an hour. The smaller ones seem to cook a little faster, so it's closer to 50 minutes. If you do the larger pans, it will be closer to an hour. But always check it at 50 minutes, because if it's bouncing, if you touch it and it bounces back, then you know it's done. And you don't want to overcook this because it tends to dry out the bread a lot, and you want it to be as moist as possible. Okay, so now I'm going to put these into the oven. I'm going to open it up first because I can transfer it faster. And remember, it's at 325, and you're going to space them out as kind of give them space to heat up in between. Don't put them really close together if you don't have to. The more space you give them, the better and more thoroughly they'll cook, and more evenly they will cook. So here goes in the last one. Okay, the bread is ready. Let's get it out of the oven. To make sure that it's ready and that you know it's ready, all you have to do is tap the top, and if it bounces back real easily, you know it's done. And they look beautiful, and it smells really good. All those essential oils, the cinnamon bark and the clove, smell amazing. Make the whole house smell good. All right, we used the cinnamon and the clove in these. It smells delicious. They're ready to go. Now we're gonna let them sit for an hour. Once they're cooled, then we can cut them. If you wanted to, you could package them in nice gifts to give to people, and it's amazing. Okay, so this is cooled off now a little bit, and I'm gonna start cutting it up into nice little slices. And then I'll put it on the plate in a nice little configuration to make it look pretty for my oil class that is happening this evening. We do oil classes, teaching people how to use oils, not just in their cooking, but in everything they do. And dump it out, and we'll place it on the plate. Ooh, this is really moist, it's really good. And then I like to put just a little powdered sugar on top to make it look a little festive. Voila, you're ready to go. And now I'm going to taste it. Again, essential oils make this bread taste even more amazing than it did even before when I wasn't using them. You can really taste that cinnamon in that clove in there. Fantastic. I hope you had as much fun watching this video as I did making it for you. If you'd like this fall recipe and others like it, you can download your free recipe cookbook at www.cookwithoils.com, where I share more tips and recipes on how to cook with essential oils. Take care, and we'll see you soon.